What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at another mock draft. Not going to be continuing today because today is Christmas Eve. I want to make sure I have a lot of time with my family, and you guys probably don't want to spend 40 minutes watching a video, so I'll give you guys my quick thoughts. Of course, you guys get to, look at my draft board rankings right there. If you guys are new, would love for you guys to stick around. We are almost at 6K. Wow, that was a quick jump. We've been booming over the past month, and it's all thanks to you guys. Again, for the people who end up not liking my content, I do apologize. I try to make this stuff so that you guys enjoy it. I want to give you guys good content, stuff that's genuine from my heart, because I don't really believe in being right all the time. I just want to give you guys what I think is right. I don't want to be stuck up. I like hearing what you guys think because I want to make the best content for you guys. So if you think I'm wrong, let me know. Don't be a dick about it, because again, I like to learn, and you guys are the super fans. So you guys watch one team, maybe a couple more, but you guys are a lot more pinpoint than maybe I am. So you guys teach me so much, and again, I love using your guys' feedback on the mock drafts because it makes better content for you, which is the whole entire reason I do this. But let's kick right into the draft, and I believe this is the first 32 picks, so it's going to be a one-rounder, but Merry Christmas Eve for everybody there. Starting off with the number one pick, Texans going CJ Stroud. It's a little bit different. I think the Texans are obviously going to go QB. I think Bryce Young's by far the best QB in the class. But, CJ Stroud has the measurables. So if the Texans need to go QB and they're scared shitless of the measurables of Bryce Young, then I guess you can go with CJ. I wouldn't. I'd personally either trade out or just take one of the elite defenders in the class. But especially if I'm sitting here and I know a lot of teams love Bryce Young, I definitely am going to trade out and then say, hey, I'll try to get CJ Stroud later, or I'll just wait another year. But yeah, I'm not a fan of CJ Stroud personally. I'll scroll down so you guys get to see where he is on my board. He's at number 31 overall. It's not like he's bad. He's just not nearly worth the number one overall pick. And if you have any questions about my big board, join the Discord. I think the sign-up sheet ended yesterday for the first fan mock draft, but that's just a one-round fan mock. That's going to be coming very soon. We're going to have a sign-up sheet for a two-rounder as well, and we're going to have a lot more people who need to sign up for that because I want it to be a big one. And if the draft sucks, it's only your fault. You could have been the one who changed the fate of your team. So I would love for you guys to go over there. We have over 300 members now. It was at 120 about a month and a half ago. Ridiculous. So love doing that with you guys. Of course, do tape studies over there, stuff that you can't do over here on YouTube. So please join. It is awesome. It's fun to hang out with you guys. Chicago Bears going Will Anderson. I personally would go Jalen Carter, but I totally understand the Bears' second pick isn't for a long time. So there's no guarantee of a starting edge rusher, even though this class very, very deep. Again, I think that there's a good enough guy to definitely start for the Bears in the second round, but if they really we need to hit on an edge rusher to be our guy, I understand not taking a swing on Jalen Carter. Of course, the Seahawks get whatever's left over and are perfectly happy. I don't think that needs to be said anymore. Detroit Lions going Will Levis. Would not do that with this pick. Personally, it's Miles Murphy or Joey Porter. There's no other option for me. Is Goff the guy? No. But are any of these guys the guy? No. And they could be. Will Levis definitely could be. I am higher on Will Levis than a lot of the consensus, except maybe PFF. PFF's a lot higher on him than I am. But I understand that this class is not good enough to take the risk of getting an elite player because of the fact that they're just not talented enough. There's not enough on the table that gets me excited, gets me out of the bed in the morning for guys like Will Levis. And I do like Will. Again, I do. But compared to Jared Goff, who's been super consistent, maybe not super elite by any stretch of the imagination, but again, if you can use this to make your team 10% better, I don't know if this moves the needle just as much. And I'm the guy who says this is the biggest wins above replacement position. You usually go QB if you need one. I just don't think the upgrade is marginal enough to justify passing on somebody like Joey Porter or Miles Murphy, who could really, really boost your defense. Cardinals going Tyree Wilson. Don't blame him at all. I could totally see that happening. I like going corner for them because I think the corner class is very top heavy, but I'm not going to complain if you end up with Tyree Wilson. He's a super raw prospect, so you got to be careful about that. And if there is going to be a new regime coming in, it's pretty safe to say they would not go after a very risky pick with Tyree because, again, he is super raw. He's not ready day one. He's a really good run defender, but it's extremely developmental. Most of the time, they like to go more conservative. That's where I could see them going after Miles Murphy. You just know that he's going to be super consistent. Keely Ringo, they're like, hey, we want to bring the culture back. Let's bring a guy who played high school here. Stuff like that. That's why I like to go that route as well. But if that happens, never going to be mad about it. Colts, of course, going Bryce. Oh, I forgot that the Lions passed on Bryce Young. Bryce Young makes sense for the Lions. I'll say that. I would say Bryce Young makes sense. Nobody else makes sense for the Lions. If Bryce Young's there, I would say Lions, you might as well try to take him. Oh, Jesus, I didn't even know that. I totally forgot. But if the Colts get Bryce Young, that is a damn steal. Falcons, Miles Murphy. If he's there, just nab him up, man. Miles Murphy's a great, great player. Anthony Richardson for the Panthers. Man, so I actually have him at number 30 on my board. He ain't ready. He has a cannon of an arm. Some of his high-level throws are absolutely jaw-dropping. But it's just so tough. Again, this organization's brand new. You usually like to bring in your quarterback, but this is just not the class to do it. Anthony Richardson, technically, like if you wanted to get the best prospect, should have returned for a year. He knew damn well that there's no competition in this class. After the top three, it's him. So I respect the decision. Business decision-wise, perfect decision. But, man, like taking him at 8 is really pricey. And like there's just some really good players on the board. I mean, you could look at corner even. I know a lot of you Panthers fans are talking about, hey, we like Panthers fans know apparently that corner position to go. And you got guys like Joey Porter there. You have Keely Ringo, Christian Gonzalez, like guys who could definitely fill that role. I would not be ripping my hair out if it were Anthony Richardson at all. But man, that's a pricey pick. That is expensive to pay for somebody who might not start for 2 more years. Very expensive. Y'all know how I feel about Isaiah Foskey. So I think that he is the most overrated player, arguably in the class, not named Brian Breezy. He just is like a big body who can move. Again, if he proves me wrong, I love that. I love being proven wrong by these players because you know what? I was proven wrong by Creed Humphrey. First snap I saw of him, I think it was actually versus Texas or Oklahoma. I saw him like let a blitzing linebacker right through the A-gap and just destroy Spencer Rattler. Knowing about who Spencer Rattler is, I kind of think I would have raised his draft stock in retrospect. But like I love being proven wrong. Like that's awesome. I love seeing good football. Good football, so much better than being right. I'm going to be honest. I like to tell you guys what I think. But you know what? If I'm wrong about a player being bad, who cares? I love it. That's great. Foskey, I hope he's that situation. I hope that CJ Stroud's that type of guy. But I just think this is a huge overbuy. Like that's, man. Because I'm high on a lot of developmental prospects. I am very high on them. Not him, though. Not him. Broderick Jones for the Raiders would not be mad about it. Of course, you'd have to see him over at right tackle, which is, I don't know how he would transition, but Georgia offensive linemen are pretty damn good at being very versatile. I would not be too scared of putting Broderick Jones at tackle. Of course, I think linebacker, corner, defensive interior, edge, maybe, are more valuable positions to this team specifically. This team's been very good with the scraps that they've gotten. I mean, 7th round picks starting at tackle. But hey, you know what? Broderick Jones is a damn good player. Never going to shame a team for going O-line. Jaguars going Quentin Johnston, takes him away from the Texans. I think you can get a true wide receiver 1. Worst case scenario, Calvin Ridley and Quentin Johnston are both beasts. So, it's a low price to pay. Jalen Hyatt, I'm a very big fan of Jalen Hyatt. He's 28 on my board. I really like him. I'll just say this. He's very scheme-specific. This team's not ready to just drop one scheme-specific guy in there. You don't have an X wide receiver. You have Brandon Cooks, who might not even be there. You have John Mechie coming back, and he's a good slot guy. You're not ready to just drop one deep threat. I don't know. That seems a little bit risky for me. And again, you guys see, I do like Jalen Hyatt. Paris Johnson for the Steelers. It's a versatile O-lineman, not necessarily one of the guys who I like, but it's better than whatever the hell the Steelers have. I'll be honest. As a Steelers fan, I know damn well it's better than the Steelers offensive lineman right now. Green Bay Packers, Jordan Addison. They usually like wide receivers with a little bit more heft to them. You look at the build of their wide receivers, even the one that they just got rid of to the Texans, funnily enough, that I'm blanking on his name, Amari Rogers. He was like over 200 pounds at 5'8". So Jordan Addison, a little bit skinny for a Packers receiver, but if they end up going this route, never going to complain. Jared Verse, this is an ideal 1-2. Obviously, Jalen Carter, number 1, Jared Verse, number 2. That's kind of nice. Both of them are top 10 players on my board. Jack Smith and Jigba, it's a nice, reliable target. Never going to complain. I think offensive tackle is a little bit more of a priority. You can even see a developmental DB like Brian Branch, who's super high ceiling, be a great fit for this team. But honestly, there's a lot of routes that would just be good positions to grab. So never going to shame him for that. DeJuan Jones, not another big fat bust. Oh, man. He is visible from the nosebleeds, but this is the least powerful 360-pound man that I have ever seen. I do not understand. He actually has kind of skinny legs for his size, too. But if this happens, I'm going to be genuinely sad. He's very underwhelming. A lot of people like him. I used to play offensive tackle. Doesn't look like it, but I did for 7 years. So far, from what I've seen, I am extremely, extremely underwhelmed. And I usually have a pretty good eye for tackles. I missed on some, but usually those are the guys with the smaller arms those are the guys who I have a little bit of hope for as a guy with smaller arms. So maybe. We'll see. But DeJuan, I think there's so much better value. I'll go Trent Simpson before I go DeJuan Jones any day of the week. There's a lot of guys I would go before DeJuan Jones for the Jets. Detroit Lions, Cam Smith, fits. You're getting your DB, but man, I'd be really disappointed if I had the opportunity to draft guys like Bryce Young, and then Joey Porter's also on the board, Miles Murphy, Jared Verse as well at that first spot. And you had Joey Porter here too, but y'all know. I have as my number 3 guy. I love Joey Porter. Buccaneers going Joey Porter, you guys already know. So if y'all are new here, I have a vendetta against this man, and I would love to be proven wrong. I actually really wouldn't. This is one of the few where I'm like, I really hope I'm right, because so many people are like writing this dude into the sunset. But he's possibly the worst tackle I've ever studied, especially given the hype. This is the most overhyped player I've ever seen by a long shot. This man is complete cheeks. I purposely tried to watch the games where he performed the best. He was a late 3rd, early 4th for me starting the year, and he just got worse. Flashes solid technique, 1 play out of the 70 that he plays. Titans, I'm sorry, you're going to have to cut another tackle after a year. It's so sad. Commanders is Keely Ringo. Ridiculous that he's here, but gotta love Keely. Chargers going Skoronski. I would love that because he can play tackle or guard. He kind of fits either position, whatever you need. RIP Dolphins. Christian Gonzalez for the Giants would be a dream. I think he could be here when the draft comes. It depends on how he tests, but there are some reps that are very glaring. Ravens going Cedric Tillman. He's probably eligible in the 1992 NFL draft, to be honest. I think he's 24, 25. I like Cedric. Why in the first, though? Who did this? Whose mans is this? Whose mans is doing this crap? The NFL Draft Bible. Again? Come on, man. This person's hiding behind a shield. I think it is literally the logo's a shield. And Cody Mock, come on. This guy's never blocked a guy on the first level in his entire life. That's really weird, by the way. I love Cody Mock, but he's never blocked a defensive lineman on tape. He always goes to the next level. I talked to Broshma about this. He's like, yeah, dude, this guy randomly gets to the second level really quickly. It's like, wait a second. He never engaged the first. He always goes after linebackers and safeties. There's no way in hell he's going to be a first-round pick if there's no translatable tape. But, I guess shout out to Cody. Of course, my friend here, Rashi Rice, go to SMU, so pony up. I love that he's getting this hype. But I wouldn't draft him in the first. If I'm being completely objective, of course, subjectively, I would love to give like my friend a shot, but no, just no. Deontay Banks, he was one of the few DBs that did not stand out to me from Maryland. I'll obviously have to look at that back in all 22, but Dante Trader was the guy who stole the show for me and Maryland's DBs. Brian Breezy, this is a relatively good range for him to go. People are going to say, oh my God, but I see guys like Broshmo take him early on. But and that was usually what people thought would happen, right? Everybody, like another guy who gets ridden by a lot of people, who I think is just totally overrated. I'll show you guys where I have him. You guys can see. He's right there at number 80 on my board. Yeah, R.I.P. Hendon Hooker. He has the sad face. But, I mean, he's debating coming back to college. That means he got a grade that he wasn't very happy with. Therefore, the NFL is lower on him too. I'm happy to see that because it's nice to get a little bit of validation on somebody that everybody is super high on except me. So, yeah, Brian Breezy. If it's the Chiefs, I'd totally do it. You have a mentor in Chris Jones? Hell yes. Like, this is where I would justify it. Totally. But before then, oh. So how many UDFAs have we drafted? So Henry To'oTo'o. I haven't studied Deontay Banks enough. Cedric Tillman, he's like a fourth for me. So we got 2 UDFAs. Almost 3 UDFAs in the first round. To be fair, maybe we just have to put in some busts in the first round. Bills, Bijan. Imagine if the Vikings go Henry To'oTo'o, but the Bills go Bijan. Brian Branch to the Eagles is pretty fun, but people get paid for this, guys. People get paid for this. And that's okay. You know what? Everybody got to make their money. So just sucks that other people got to grind and people who actually care don't get the recognition they deserve. But that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting me as always. Merry Christmas. There's not going to be a video out tomorrow, but I really do appreciate you guys as always. See you on the far side. Peace.